I take your point. The fact is that for a lot of those hours, the president, the former president, first lady, and the former first lady were asleep, so we probably weren't going to bring in a still pool for that, or they were having dinner or something like that. But look, I think I just made clear that I want to work on this issue, and I think that it's
fair to say you're acknowledging it's an issue. That
it's certainly an issue, and it's certainly an issue. And I promise you, it's been an issue. And I promise you, it's been an issue for as long as I've been in Washington. And I can show you a letter from the White House News Photographers Association to my predecessor in the Bush administration, complaining about this.
That you think you think this has not been.
I would acknowledge that absolutely we need to. That we're going to work with the press and with the photographers to try to address some of their concerns. What I can also assure you is that we will not create a day that has never existed, at least in modern times, when everyone in the White House press corps is satisfied with the amount of access they get to the president. That would be, I think, impossible to expect.
But have you ever given consideration to the flip side, which is to say, if you guys say to the press, we're not going to let you into an event because we consider it a private event, right? The conversations between the presidents, what have you. And then Pete Souza or whoever takes those photos, have you ever considered saying to them, you can't release those photos because we have said it's a private event? Because it surprises all of us when you say it's a private event.
We put on a schedule when things are open press or closed press. I don't know that we designate them private. What I can say is that here's look, Mike. I think I think this is an important discussion to have, and I think that it's important to have it within the context of all the changes that are happening in the media. And here's what I know, is that for years, through presidencies of both parties, there have been White House photographers, official White House photographers, who have, by the nature of their jobs, had been in rooms with the president when others aren't there and taken pictures and released those photos, often on the same day. And hold on. Well, so the issue here is, I think this is the essence of the conversation, and it's not. It means that, because I think by that question you're acknowledging that we're not operating any differently than other White House offices have operated, except that the internet exists, and that in the past, when White House photos were developed and handed out here, news organizations could decide whether their readers would ever see those photos. What exists now on the internet is the ability for everyone, every one of you, everyone on the street, everyone around the world to take a picture and put it on the internet. Now, and the White House posts some pictures on the internet, identified as official White House photographs. So the fundamental difference here is distribution. And I can tell you again, because of the respect I have for the photographers in particular, that I am very sensitive to the situation they're in. And that all of us, when I say us, I was in, by the transformation created by the internet and the pressure that is put on business models. And I think that's what is often never mentioned in op-eds or in other venues where this issue is raised. But some of this anyway has to do with fundamental transformations in the media of which we and other institutions are simply participants, but not. We did not create the internet, this administration. And guys,
with Air Force One, the internet had nothing to do with Air Force One. There was constraint.
Hold on, April. Go ahead.
Our problem is the access. You can put out 1 million pictures a day from White House photographer. You bar.
And what I'm saying that it is, and what I'm saying is that we are going to work with. We are going, as past White Houses have done. And we hold on, John. And so have we, but it's not. Do you think that? Hey guys, if you're telling me that on every flight that President Bush took and every flight that President Clinton took, and hold on, but what I'm saying is, guys, what I'm saying is, we hear you, and I want to address this, and I want to work with the photographers to improve that situation and see if we can be responsive to your concerns. All I'm noting in answer to Michael's question, is that this is part of a bigger transformation that's happening out there that's driven by the ability of everyone to post anything on the internet free of charge so that you don't have to buy that newspaper or subscribe to that wire service to see that photograph. And that's true, Ann. It's true.
The
Yeah.
internet had nothing to do. The internet
April?
had nothing on Air Force One. We understand there were constraints
Sure.
in Africa on the ground, but the internet had nothing to do
No,
on Air Force
sure.
One when you had a large group of reporters in the pool, photographers there as well, who could have come up with Pete Souza to the front of Air Force One and taken a couple of pictures. Maybe not as many as Pete Souza did, but we were
That's-
not allowed.
And
Yes.
you can post as many as you want.
Yes, but you
I
could
hear
have
you,
allowed
April.
us
I
the
hear you, and I'm saying that those are the kind of issues we're gonna address, and I want to work with the Correspondents Association and the photographers to see if we can be responsive in a way that allows them more of the access that they seek, and obviously also allows us to operate the way every other White House is operated.
These cameras, when you started talking about this, they were letting you know that they're here. Did you hear that?
I always know they're here.
No, but I mean, seriously, did you hear their clicks while they were taking pictures of you while you were speaking about this issue? Did you hear them? That was their form of saying, we are here.
I get that, April. Thank you. Brianna, let's give Brianna a chance.
You say it's an issue of distribution being different, but isn't it also the difference of the standard that this administration has set for itself? You say past White Houses have done things similarly. I mean, anyone here can tell you that there's less access than under the Bush administration, and yet it was President
cover
Obama who said, I did, who said, I did at times, and it was President Obama who talked about transparency being a hallmark of his administration. So isn't it sort of the problem is that he has set up a standard himself that he's not meeting, that his White House is not meeting?
What I can tell you, Brianna, is every White House, every president has had meetings that the press didn't cover. Every White House has released photographs of, if they had children, of presidents and first ladies with their children that obviously the press didn't cover. But I understand that also the press corps has always sought and sometimes demanded more access, and I want to work with, and we want to work with the photographers and others to see how we can be more responsive, understanding that I will not live to see the day, and neither will you, when independent journalists who cover the White House will say, you know what, I got all the access I wanted today or this week or that month. It's not going to happen.
That's not what we're asking for. I mean,
but there's the issue of access. I think that's what you just identified versus distribution. So there are two things here. And what we can address is access. But I can tell you that in a lot of the conversations I've had with photographers, it's also come down to distribution and what they view as competition, because those photographs become available and create competition to them. Because of the way that, the modern ways that these things can be distributed, not through news organizations. And I'm sympathetic to that, and I understand it, and I understand the downward pressure that the internet creates on media organizations, all of the ones represented here by and large. But on the access issue, that's something we can address, and we're going to try to address.
You say you're going to work to address that. So does that mean that you will allow photographers into and reporters and editorial I get producers and reporters into events that you're not. I mean, you're saying you're working with them, but what does that mean? Are you actually doing something?
I'm saying that we have been meeting with representatives of the White House correspondents, and we will continue to work to increase access, to be responsive to some of these concerns. But I can promise you that the outcome of that will not be complete satisfaction, because there are going to be occasions, as there have been with every president, that the press is not present in a meeting or a situation involving the president where there are existing photographs because a White House photographer took them. And some of those are national security related. Some of those are...
Are you going to concrete examples of turning the dial towards more openness?
Yeah,
so there will be?
We are going to we are going to work on getting more access, but I can again promise that.
What does that mean we're going to work on? Are you going to give the access? What does it mean working on?
I'm saying that we're going to work on finding ways to be responsive and provide more access. What I can promise you, though, is that there will continue to be occasions with this president, as there have been with every one of his 43 predecessors, where there are meetings and events and moments that are not covered by the outside press. That's gonna. No, I know, but I'm saying, but I'm also saying that what I don't expect in response to improvements that we make that might be welcomed, that everybody will say, okay, now we're satisfied, because then you wouldn't be doing your job, and I get that.
But do you acknowledge that this White House has provided less access than previous White Houses? For instance, to the Oval Office that you put out.
I can say that the statement in that piece about the Oval Office was factually wrong, but I can tell you that in my experience, as a reporter, now I wasn't a photographer, the answer to that is I completely reject it.
So what are you working on then? You're saying
I can tell you that this
provided more access.
I'm saying on the issue of photographers, I want to work on giving photographers more access. They have come to us and been very clear about their concerns, and we want to address those concerns in the best way that we can.
Can I ask a question about the Newtown anniversary?
Yeah, let's do.
What does the president think of this? Is he
I'm sorry, I think I called him Brianna. Yes.